Let's do it. Hi guys, I'm Max and this is Sophie and welcome back to our van build series.
Quick disclaimer, this is very blue box heavy. Max is nerding out in the only way he knows how, which is with hardcore electrical nonsense. So the first part of this video is very blue box heavy. You have been warned.
But once we get through this stage of the electrics, we'll be on to powering up all of our lights and other appliances and then moving on to the next stage.
Yeah, so hang on in there with us, guys. We are trying as quick as we can to get this done. Not long now.
Let's do it. So now that we have all the batteries connected, the first thing we're going to connect up is our battery balancer, which is this unit here, and it has a negative, midpoint and positive connection to the battery banks, and we've wired it up how it suggests in the manual. Kind of like that, but only with the 4 batteries, obviously. So we're going to make those connections and then probably stop for lunch. And that is as simple as that. And because our batteries are currently all balanced, we've not got any lights on. So if we grab our multimeter and just double check that the voltage passing across that is less than that, which it is, that's 25.7, and we can also check the midpoint and the negative as well, which should give us a 12.7. That means it is all operational and just waiting for that voltage to be unbalanced so it can balance it out. So that's great. That's our first blue box all wired up. The next thing we have to attach is our DC to DC Orion TR Smart charger, which is 24 to 24 volt and 17 amp. And what we're using this for is to charge off of our vehicle batteries to our leisure batteries when the van is running. So we're going to start with the input connection from the vehicle batteries up into the unit, and then after we've done that, we'll connect it to the leisure batteries. So the first step is to connect the DC to DC charger to the vehicle batteries, and we need to add another little MIDI fuse box in for the positive feed between the two of them, as recommended in the manual. We're also going to do a little bit of cable management along here, where all the cables are going to run from our servo, battery balancer and DC to DC charger, hold them all neatly and up and out the way. I'm gonna get the app, which I'm just downloading, and program this charger to the right settings for our batteries, and then we'll connect up to our leisure side. So we've got a 30 amp fuse, as the manual states, in there on the vehicle side, and we're doing another 30 amp fuse on the leisure side as well. So I've ended up just popping our seat off, our driver's seat, just because it was so awkward to get into there to get all this wiring up. So now we've got that off, I can show you our whole system a bit easier, because you can actually see it. This is our vehicle batteries and our leisure batteries, paired with our other 2 leisure batteries that are over there. Our multi-plus is in that seat box just there. And then we have our MPPTs and our DC to DC charger. Our fuses are like appliance fuse boxes, smart shunt, battery protect, servo, isolator switch, and all the other gubbins. Definitely should have taken the seat off to do all that. It would have made it a lot easier. So I've made the connection to our vehicle batteries. I'm just going to check on the DC to DC charger that there is 24 volts there on the input side. I assume there is, because I've got a little blue LED flashing. And the next thing in the manual to do is to open the Victron Connect app to set up the product and the charging algorithm. So I'm going to take a look at that now. I'm going to take a little while looking at this app. Oh, it's found the device, that's good. I've never used this before, so I'm going to go and work out how to use it. So I've just pressed on the device on the app and it's told me there is an update you need to do. So I'm going to press update now and leave that running for a little while. It says the current version is 1.03 and the new version I want to update to is 1.06. So I'm going to update that and leave that going. So now that the Orion is connected to the vehicle's batteries, we need to connect it up to the leisure batteries. So we're going to connect it to the fuse distributor with its MIDI fuse, which should go with 30 amp, and then also up to the negative bus bar. That is the wiring for the Orion on the vehicle and the leisure side done. We just need to add our fuse, our mega fuse up from our batteries in place, and then we can flick the isolator switch and we should be able to read on the Victron Connect app the input and the output voltage reading on the Orion. So it's the moment of truth. Flick our isolator switch to on. We also have our batteries a bit on the blink and need charging on our vehicle side, but let's just get an output, and yeah, we've got a reading of 25.7 volts there. So that is our vehicle and leisure batteries both connected up to our Orion. I think we're going to probably call it a day there. I need to go find Sophie and see what she's up to. Tomorrow we'll probably go have a look at connecting our multi-plus up. So the charger side of it, which will allow us to get everything charging while we're sat in here, finish working on it, and also the AC side, so our input and output to our sockets. Then once we've done that, we're going to take a look at our MPPTs, our Smart Protect, our volt droppers, and then all of our fuses out to all of our different appliances. But I'm really happy with what we've done today. So today is the day of the Multi-Plus. I did a lot of reading up of the manual and the installation guide and everything last night, so I think we're all set to go. We're going to start with some battery connections and then take a look at the AC side of things. I've also got my head around the app a bit more, and the DC to DC charger is still looking nice. Got that all set up on the app properly now. Gives you all the data that you need. So we'll get everything else set up and keep an eye on that. So to connect our Multi-Plus up, which is now fixed into place, we have some 25mm squared cable to link over to our batteries. So we need to cut them down, crimp them, heat shrink them, and then get it all fitted and all the cables ran neatly. The first step is to attach the battery cables, which we have, and to do that we need to take the front panel off of the Multi-Plus so we can look at the connection points, and the cables are going to run through, along and up to our negative bus bar and the correct maxi fuse that's going to be down in there. Looks simple enough, just need to get this open. So we have the Multi-Plus end of the positive and negative DC cables connected up, so we're going to route them through out of the seat box now over to where they need to be over on the panel on the back of the chair, and then cut them down to length and connect them all up. And we then have a few extra connections we're going to make inside the Multi-Plus. Now that we have the Multi-Plus battery cables connected at the Multi-Plus end, we need to connect them up to our system end. So we need to attach them to their fuse and also up to the bus bar. So that's the next job. What are you doing?
Just tidying up some cable.
Am I too messy?
Exciting. No, you're pretty neat.
Just getting them all neat and tidy.
Just nice and neat. We need to build something that's going to cover these wires as they travel into this box. Until we do that, we're just going to tuck them out the way. So that is our Multi-Plus connected to our batteries. All we need to do is flick our big old switch and everything should power up. That means tomorrow we can look at our AC power and actually get our Multi-Plus charging our batteries as well. So it's all good. Here it comes, moment of truth.
Yes, we need to flick our isolator switch and it should link the batteries up to the Multi-Plus.
Here we go. And nothing happened.
Cool.
Is that a good thing?
I don't know.
Were we expecting lights or no lights?
Sure. We'll find out. Nothing went pop, which is good.
That is always good.
Just need to...
And Max hasn't shocked himself at all yet, so that's also good. That looks positive.
24 volts over here. Good.
So there is power going to the multiplus.
All good. We just need to work out how to control it now. Awesome.
Does that mean you're going to spend even more time on your Victron app?
I think that's a tonight problem.
Okay.
I'll do some Googling.
Max has had the Victron app for a grand total of a day.
Yeah, about 24 hours.
And he has spent maybe 20 hours of those 24 hours on that app. It sucks you in, guys.
Whatever.
So Max is just
if I think about it, I should probably turn it on or onto charger only or something, and we should get some lights.
Lights!
Awesome.
Okay, so, you know, turning it on always helps with electrics, huh?
Obviously it's not going to do anything until we connect some stuff up, is it?
No, but that's a tomorrow problem.
Yes, we're going to wire it into our servo, into our multi-control panel, so we can see it and get it all working. See what it's doing as well.
But yeah, but it's 6 o'clock, so...
Tomorrow.
I need to go cook some dinner for people.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
The sun will come out. Tomorrow. So it's a new day, and yesterday we got the batteries connected up to our multiplus, which is really exciting. And the next step is connecting up the AC side, which is
like our shore power. So it's going to come from the place where we've plugged in into our multiplus, and then from our multiplus out to all our sockets in our van. And that's if we want like big power, and we can have 240 volt.
So we've got, yeah, all that to wire in.
Yes.
Let's do it.
So this is our power in on our van. It is a male socket. This is going to get mounted under our van somewhere. We think we're going to go sort of near the driver's side door. We need to get from that to our multiplus, so we're going to be using this sort of cable, which is a 2.5mm cable, and that will go into our multiplus wired in. It's a 3-core cable, and then it comes back out of the multiplus into the rest of our system.
So we're going to mount our hookup point just under our driver's side door on this bracket here. So it's nice and easy to get to and connect up to once we're on a campsite or in a festival or something like that. So now we're going to measure how much cable we need from that point over to our multiplus. So this is our cable that needs to get to the outside, and we have a hole here where the handbrake is, the air handbrake. So we're going to just poke things through there, and then Max will be underneath and he's going to tug the other end, I guess. So we're going through a few metal holes in the chassis under the van. So I'm just putting it in a bit of conduit to help protect it from anything. It's cable that's fine outdoors, but won't do any harm.
Every little helps.
We pushed a bit of excess out from under the van so we can get this connected to this. So let's show you how we're going to do that. So you need to wire this up as indicated on the labels. It's all nice and clear for your live, your neutral and your earth points. That's all labelled up because it's kind of a male socket. Sockets are normally female, but this is male because it's a hookup point. It feels a bit backwards to what you'd normally be doing. So yeah, just make sure you're 100% sure what you're doing on that. So we're going to wire that up now. That's it wired up. We've also thrown on a cable gland that you can pick up some screw fix just to do a nice neat exit of cable from the unit and keep it all nice and waterproof. So then we're going to take the housing and put it back on, if I can remember how, like that, and put the screw back in the top which holds it in place, and then take the cap and clip it back on.
Look of concentration.
There we go. And that gives us our waterproof flap. And that's going to mount just like that. Give us a nice hookup point. Whoop, 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 whoop. That's it in. And then the final step is just tidying that AC cable up, we've got some cable tie mount to attach it to, and then we will get inside the van and see what to do with the other end. So now that we have the cable coming up and into the van, we are going to route it over to the multi-plus, cut it down to length, connect it up to this connector, which is what connects it to the multi-plus, which has a pin for the live, the neutral and the earth, and then plug it in, and we should have AC power once we're actually hooked up over to the multi-plus.
So we have the connector on the end. We are using my phone with the camera on, so I can actually see where it needs to go, and we're gonna plug it in, she says. Oh, my head keeps going in the light. So just about managed to get that in. Good job, I have really tiny little hands. What's next?
Next we are going to, I think we might give it some power and see what happens.
Oh my god. We now have power going from the wall at the end of the lockup to this point. We have converted that power into a 3-pronged thing. What's the word I'm looking for? Socket.
It's a 16 amp socket.
Socket? Socket, not plug.
No,
Socket.
the plug's attached to the bottom of the van.
Okay, we have power in the form of a socket.
This.
And that
Into
socket
van.
is now going to go into the van, and then hopefully this little box is going to take that power and charge our batteries. You ready?
I'm ready. So that is our mains hooked up and our charger light illuminated. That means it's getting power perfectly.
Very excited.
So our next step is connecting up our 2 MPPTs and our smart battery protect over to our MIDI fuses. We don't actually have our solar panels because we have to build a roof rack up there yet, but we're going to get them connected up and also connected to our servo and programmed for our types of batteries and presets and everything, so they're all ready to go once we do finally install our solar panels and connect them up. The smart battery protects also then going to go out to our fuse boxes, so we're going to make up some cables for all of that.
So while Max is carrying on with the electrics, I'm going to be doing another couple of random jobs. So I'm going to try and back some of the overhead cupboards so that we can continue running the conduit through those. I've got some like filling in holes in the floor to do, so just busy, busy, busy.
So our next job, now we have these cables very roughly ran for the MPPT positives. We need to connect them all up. Now we've done our MIDI and maxi fuse holder, and then run all our negatives for the MPPTs and for the kind of appliance little bus bars over to the main bus bar, so they can all be terminated, and then we have a full working circuit. Yeah, I'm gonna cut them down to length and strip them and attach them up into the positive points on the MPPTs, and then we're gonna take a negative and run it over and over to our negative bus bar over here, which completes the circuit and connects the 2 MPPTs up to the batteries, which lets us program them and get them all set up ready for once we install our solar panels, which we're doing later in our build, and then we just need to run the 2 PV feeds down, positive and negative, into one, and the other for our 2 sets up on the roof. Now that we have these 2 MPPTs wired up with a positive and negative feed into each one, and the wires over to 2 MIDI fuses and over to the bus bar, we should be able to flick our isolator switch and have some lights show up onto our MPPTs. And then we'll need to go onto our Victron Connect app and have a look at setting them up for the right battery type and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to give it a go. We should get some lights on the front, I think, when I flick it on. Yeah, there we go. They're both flashing with a blue LED, which I assume means the Bluetooth is on, because these are the smart solar charge controllers. So now that we have our 2 MPPTs wired in, and we've used the app to kind of set them up a bit and check they're all working, which they are, just on the Bluetooth, we are going to run the negatives from our bus bars up at the top over to our main bus bar. And that would mean everything ready for when we wire up to our fuse boxes and bus bars is a circuit there already. We just need to run all the appliances in.
while I'm waiting for those backing panels to dry, they're over there, I'm going to look at fitting the LEDs for the under counter lights. They're going to be fitting under this lip that we've made in the overhead cupboard, and we're going to be fitting some little sort of conduit for them, so I'll show you that now. So we're using this channeling. It comes in flats and 90-degree angles. We're using flat for the overhead cupboards, and we're going to use the 90 degrees for the bathroom. So we're going to attach it to that cupboard with these little clips, so it'll just push in, and we then stick the LED into the channel and then put the sort of diffuser over the top. Guess who's back?
Hey, hey!
Back again. Jason's back.
Who's that? M&M. My favourite sweet.
Whoa. So you can see the little channel running here. I'm currently stood inside where the oven's going to be, and we're gonna run our LEDs down here, and we've screwed it in using our little bracket, and you can see that unfortunately some of them don't hit all the right places, so we're gonna have to use little wooden shims to sort that out, but that's okay. So we've just drilled a 4mm hole in that little channel, which means our wires can go up in there and then up out in our cupboard. All good. So we have now got our LEDs in their strip, and we're just putting on the little cover. So this is the diffuser. We've gone for a what flavour diffuser have we gone for?
Can't remember. Maybe
it's white.
opal?
Opal? I think it might be opal. It's got like quite a high opacity. It's opaque.
Opaqueness.
High opaqueness. So
Yeah, it's about 50%.
yeah, so it's obviously going to block out some of the light, but what it does is it stops you being able to see each individual LED. And we did go for quite high standard LEDs, didn't we? How high?
120 a metre.
So it's 120 a metre in this strip. So it was slightly more expensive, but we really wanted to go for a nice warm white, and the diffuser makes the light that comes out of it look beautiful. So we are going to make sure this is clipped on the whole way, and then Max is going to solder the ends up, and we're going to have some actual light.
Can't wait to see it. It's going to be nice and warm. Orangey glow and toastiness.
With a dimmer switch, right?
With a dimmer switch. But you're going to have to wait until next week to see that and us connect up all of our other appliances.
It's really happening!
Finishing the electric.
Ah!
You really don't want to miss that, so if you haven't subscribed already, please press that button down below so you don't miss our future videos.
So if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and comment below, and we will love you forever and ever. And ever.
So I guess.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.